Have you ever wondered what it takes to achieve success? Why do some people seem to rise above challenges effortlessly while others struggle? Is it talent, luck, or simply hard work? What if I told you that there's just one life rule that can dramatically change the course of your success? What if I told you that there's just one life rule that can dramatically change the course of your success? Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand the one principle that successful people live by and how you can use it to change your own life forever. Success often feels elusive, doesn't it? We chase after our goals, try different strategies, follow advice from various self-help books, and yet many of us still feel like something is missing. That's because we're often focusing on tactics, not principles. Here's the thing. Success is not just about what you do, it's about how you live. There's a fundamental life rule that governs the success of the most accomplished people, and it's not something that's frequently talked about. It's time to reveal it. The one life rule that you must follow if you want to achieve lasting success is consistency over intensity. Let that sink in for a moment. Consistency over intensity. Most people think that to succeed, they need to make huge leaps, take drastic action, and work tirelessly. And while hard work is important, it's not the big, intense actions that create success. It's the small, consistent actions that build momentum over time. Think about the most successful people you know. Do they seem frantic, always chasing the next big thing? Or are they calm, steady, and focused on building habits that lead to long-term success? You see, successful people understand that consistency is the ultimate multiplier. The small steps they take every single day compound over time to create massive results. Here's why consistency matters more than intensity. When you're consistent, you create habits. And when you create habits, you don't have to rely on willpower or motivation. Success becomes automatic because your habits take over. Let me ask you this. Have you ever started a new project or goal with tons of energy and excitement, only to fizzle out a few weeks later? Maybe you hit the gym hard for 2 weeks, then lost motivation. Maybe you worked tirelessly on a new business idea for a month, but then burned out. This happens because intensity is unsustainable over the long term. It's easy to give your all for a short period, but it's much harder to maintain consistency over time. Consistency might not sound glamorous, but here's the truth. Consistency beats intensity every time. It's the person who shows up day after day making small improvements who eventually wins the race. Look at successful athletes, business leaders, and creators. They didn't get where they are by making one giant leap. They got there by taking small, consistent steps every day. They understood the power of showing up, even when they didn't feel like it. Think about it. If you improve by just 1% every day, at the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's the magic of consistency. And here's the kicker. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to make huge strides every single day. You just need to show up consistently. Let me give you an example. Consider someone who wants to get fit. They might think they need to go to the gym for 2 hours every day, run 10 miles, and lift heavy weights. But what if instead they committed to just 30 minutes of movement every day? It doesn't sound like much, right? But over the course of a year, those 30 minutes add up to over 180 hours of exercise. The results would be life-changing. Now compare that to someone who works out intensely for 2 weeks and then quits. The person who is consistent will always outperform the person who is intense but inconsistent. But consistency isn't just about showing up. It's about showing up with intention. You need to focus on the right actions, the ones that align with your long-term goals. This is why successful people prioritize their time. They don't waste energy on tasks that don't move them forward. They focus on what's important, and they do it consistently. Take a look at Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people on the planet. Buffett didn't become a billionaire by making risky, intense moves. He became successful by making consistent, smart investments over decades. He's known for saying, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." In other words, your habits, good or bad, eventually become the foundation of your life. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. When you're consistent, you begin to trust yourself. You know that you can rely on yourself to show up, to do the work, and to make progress. This is where so many people fail. They try to rely on motivation or inspiration to get them going, but those things are fleeting. Consistency, on the other hand, builds momentum that lasts. Think about it. The hardest part of any journey is the beginning. Once you get started, it gets easier, and eventually, it becomes automatic. That's the power of momentum, and that's what consistency gives you. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Sure, consistency sounds great, but how do I stay consistent when life gets in the way? That's a valid question. The truth is, life will always get in the way. There will always be distractions, obstacles, and setbacks. But here's where the magic happens. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you have to be flawless every single day. What it means is that you keep going, even when things aren't perfect. It means that if you miss a day, you get back on track the next day. It means that you don't let one bad day turn into a bad week, or a bad month, or a bad year. The key is to keep showing up. Even if you're not at your best, even if you can only give 50%, you show up. Because over time, those small efforts will add up. Here's a little secret that successful people know. They don't rely on motivation to stay consistent. They rely on systems and habits. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, said it best. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? It means that your habits and systems are what will determine your success, not your goals. You could have the most ambitious goals in the world, but if you don't have a system in place to achieve them, you'll never get there. On the other hand, if you have strong systems and habits, you'll achieve success almost automatically. Let's talk about how to create those systems and habits. First, start small. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to overhaul their entire life overnight. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, trying to do too much too quickly is a recipe for burnout and failure. Instead, focus on one small habit at a time. Maybe you want to start exercising more. Instead of committing to an hour-long workout every day, start with just 10 minutes. The goal is to build the habit, not to go all out from day one. Once you've built the habit, you can gradually increase the intensity. But first, focus on showing up. Remember, it's not about how much you do, it's about how consistently you do it. Here's another key to staying consistent. Accountability. Successful people don't try to go it alone. They surround themselves with people who hold them accountable, whether it's a coach, a mentor, or a supportive community. Accountability creates external motivation. When you know that someone else is counting on you, it's much harder to quit. You feel a sense of responsibility, not just to yourself, but to others. If you don't have someone to hold you accountable, find a way to create accountability for yourself. You could track your progress publicly, set deadlines, or even reward yourself for sticking to your goals. The point is, accountability helps you stay on track, even when things get tough. Here's another truth. Consistency requires patience. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant gratification. We want results, and we want them now. But success doesn't work that way. The most successful people understand that real success takes time. They know that they might not see results right away, but they trust the process. They keep showing up day after day, knowing that eventually their efforts will pay off. It's like planting a tree. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree to grow overnight. You water it, you nurture it, and over time, it grows. The same is true for your success. If you stay consistent, you will eventually see the results. But you have to be patient, and you have to trust the process. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with this final thought. The one life rule that will guarantee your success is consistency over intensity. It's not about how hard you work in the short term, it's about how consistent you are over the long term. Small, consistent actions will always outperform intense, short-term bursts of effort. If you can commit to showing up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, and even when the results aren't immediate, you will achieve success. So I challenge you, start today. Pick one small habit that aligns with your goals and commit to doing it consistently. It doesn't matter if it's just 5 minutes a day, the important thing is that you show up. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's commit to consistency and watch our lives transform.